church. Give it up for Bernadette. She was on fire. You know, starting yesterday afternoon, I didn't know if the good Lord wanted me to be here or not. I live right outside of Dallas, so I was heading to DFW for my 5 o'clock flight, and I get this little message on my phone that your flight's been canceled. They had bad storms rolling through, so there was nothing else going out, so I got on the 7 a.m. flight this morning. Next one I could get on. So I'm there, I'm thinking, it's going to work out. I'm going to get there. Well, we get to the runway, and the pilot comes on and says, well, they just told us we got to sit here a little while. I'm going, I don't have a little while to sit here. I mean, this is not good. Luckily, we took off, and Dr. Flukas actually called me right before they introduced me and said, are you getting close? I had literally just walked in the hotel. My bags are even in the back. I didn't even have time to go to my room, but the good Lord saw fit for me to get here, so I'm excited to be with you guys. For the ones that don't know me, I'm a high school basketball coach. I coached for 16 years at Lakeview High School in Garland, Texas. I loved it. I did it with a passion. I felt like I helped some kids, but never made much money. If there's any educators in the room, I can get an amen out of that deal. But, you know, I finally decided that the Mavericks, Hawks, Lakers, Sixers, none of those NBA teams were going to call me. So I was trying to figure out what I was going to do to change my financial picture when a friend of mine showed me this deal. I didn't understand it when I looked at it. I couldn't have explained it had my life depended on it. But I just kept thinking, gee, that might work. I mean, that was literally my thought process was, gee, that might work. I got in with a goal to make $1,000 a month. I thought, well, if I can make $1,000 a month, it would help me pay some bills. Took me about 6 months, but I finally went to the mailbox, pulled that envelope out, and there was a check in there that had a comma. I have never been as excited to see a comma in my whole life as to have a check, a residual check with my name on it and a comma involved. But I used to go to church with a man named Zig Ziglar, and Zig would always tell us, Zig would say, go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you're going to be able to see further. Well, Zig was right. When we got it to $1,000 a month, my vision grew a little bit, and I could see 3. We got it to 3, I could see 5, then 10, and then 20, and it just kept growing. And as Bernadette pointed out, Jeannie and I have been blessed to make a whole lot of money. And you know, guys, I grew up dirt poor in southeast Dallas. I had no dad. My mom worked in a sewing factory. We lived in the ghettos. There were 2 murders and a rape within 7 houses of us. Confiscated 500 pounds of marijuana from across the street. If you look at my resume, there's nothing in there that would suggest that I could be as successful as we've been. Now, you got to understand, it's because of this company, Connect. But I'll also say this is not winning the lottery when you sign up. You've got to get out and talk to people. You got to put some effort out or nothing's going to happen. So I challenge us all to decide we're going to put some effort out, because that's really the difference maker in our business. Now I'm going to give you 3 quick points. I know you've been sitting here a long time, and I know the mind can absorb only what the rear can endure, so I will try to do this in about 10 minutes, but 3 quick points. 1, you got to get started. I don't care what venture you're after in life. It's easy to sit there and plan and think about it and talk about it and strategize about it, but it's a whole lot harder to get started, to actually take that first step and start doing what you've been thinking about. And I'll say this, the stuff I'm talking about right now, I focus it on Connect because that's why we're here, but this will apply to any area of your life. But we've got to make a decision, and we've got to get out there. I would guarantee you, if I went around and talked to everybody in this room, that most of you that are already involved, you'd be saying, yeah, I've been thinking about really getting after it. I've been thinking about making that list. I've been thinking about making those calls. I've really been thinking about showing that place, especially when the first of the year came around. I was going to make those goals and start doing something. Well, now we're already a third into January, and I guarantee you a bunch of us are still sitting there thinking about what we need to do. What you'll figure out in life is most successful people aren't always the brightest. They're not always the sharpest knife in the drawer or the brightest color in the box. What most successful people were willing to do was to get started. You know, you can always get good people around you that can make you look better, but you got to get started to find those good people. You know, the folks on my team are the ones that have put me in the position I'm in. I signed up Mark Dean. He had a car dealership, and I went and my daughter, Sarah Beth, was wanting to buy a car. I went and visited with Mark Dean about the car, but before I left, I said, hey, do you keep your options open for other sources of income? And he said, yeah. And I said, what are you doing for lunch today? And he said, I'm open. Took him to a Jason's Deli, sit down and on a napkin, drew out our compensation plan. Dino got in the business. Now, Dino had never networked before. You know, I asked Dino, I said, Dino, what are you doing in the morning? This after he signed up. I said, what are you doing in the morning? He said, I'm free. I said, meet me at Starbucks down the street here, and let's go over a few things. So we met the next morning, Saturday morning at Starbucks. I bought Dino his latte. We got in my car, and I looked at Dino, and I said, hey, Dino, who do you know that we can go show this to? Now, Dino had never networked. His eyes gets about this big, you know. He goes, what do you mean go show somebody? I said, yeah, you know kind of how I showed you yesterday? I said, we need to go show some people today. He sat there for a minute. I'm sure to him it seemed like 10 minutes. I didn't say a word. I was just looking at him, you know. And he finally goes, I got a sister. I said, great, call your sister. So he calls his sister. We go show his sister. She doesn't want to get in. We get back in the car. I looked at him again. I said, okay, Dino, who else can we go show this to? Well, I got another sister. Call your other sister, you know. Guys, I'm not embellishing on this. We call the other sister. We show her. She doesn't get in. We get back in the car. Now, at that point in time, am I a little bit disappointed? A little bit. But did I show Dino? No. Nope, not at all. We get back in the car. I look at him. Who else can we go show this to? He said, well, my partner in the car dealership is Mark Flores. I said, call Flo and see if we can go show Mark Flores. So Dino calls him. He said, yeah, I'm free. Y'all swing by. Now, I didn't know Flo at this time. We go show Flo. Flo decides to get in the business. Well, I looked at Flo after he signed up, and I said, you got a couple of hours? He said, yeah. So I said, Dino, you get in the back seat. Flo, you get in the front seat. I said, who can we go show this to? Flo said, I got a brother. And I mean, I could keep the story going, but you get the point. Now, here's what I really want to drive home. Dino had never networked. Flo had never networked. They were like two new calves looking at a gate, you know. They didn't have a clue what was going on. I'd much rather have been doing something else on that Saturday. But you know what? I realized that chances are if I didn't get in the car with them and go with them and show them how to do it, that chances are they wouldn't get in that car and go do it. Maybe, but I doubt it very seriously. What I'm going to challenge all you guys to do is not just sign up somebody and pat them on the back and say, go do it, or sign them up and give them a little 15-minute training and then say, go do it. What I'm going to challenge you to do is take responsibility for their success, put them in the car with you or whatever you can do, and get after it. You know, that day I could have done a lot of things. I could have watched Captain Kangaroo on TV and drank tea or something. But do you realize Mark Dean, who put in Mark Flores, who put in half this room, do you realize that that leg has put in about 100,000 people on my team and probably made me about a third of that money that Bernadette was talking about. From that one person that I really didn't want to talk to, but I decided to do it anyway. Really didn't want to get in the car with them, but I did it anyway. And it's turned into a life-changing event for this boy. Now, you got to understand, this business is about you taking control of it. It's about you getting started with it. I challenge us all today to really get started. You need to be making a list of everybody you've ever known in your lifetime. Guys, you got to put everybody down. My business started off slow for this reason. I started off thinking about who needs this business. So the first guy across my mind was broke Uncle Harry. You know, here's the deal. If you're counting on broke Uncle Harry being your best business partner, chances are you're going to be disappointed. Now, I'm not saying we're not going to talk to broke Uncle Harry. We will. We're going to give everybody a chance. But broke Uncle Harry should be about number 37 on the list, not number 2. We should be thinking, who do we know in this world that is successful, that's motivated, that's going somewhere with their life? And when I say successful, financial success is great. That's a good indicator. But also, how about a successful teacher, preacher, coach, YMCA leader, parent, teacher, organization leader? How about somebody that's just out there with people being successful in some area of their life? Because that is a clue to us. If they're out working doing something else, then chances are they're the person you're looking for. I figured out a long time ago, if I want to get something done, give it to a busy person. You've got to understand that you've got to put, when my business took off is when I stopped going to the broke Uncle Harry's first. My banker is in, my dentist is in, my CPA's in, my attorney's in, my doctor's in. All the successful people in my life, the professional people, they're in my business now, and that's when my business took off. Again, I won't say don't talk to Uncle Harry. We're going to talk to him, but I will say this. You need to make sure you've got some successful people at the top of that list. And don't be scared. I call that a chicken list. And the reason I didn't talk to those people at first was because I was chicken. We feel better going to talk to broke Uncle Harry than we do the vice president at the bank, don't we? Because we feel like, if we're a 6 on that socioeconomic scale, we feel better talking to 4s, don't we? But then we just taught our 4s to talk to 2s, and then the 2s are going to be talking to 0s. You're going to have a whole team of 0s if you do it that way. If you're a 6, you need to show your team that you're talking to 7, 8s, 9s, and 10s. They should be watching you as to what you're doing, and that should be what they're doing. But you need to make that list and put qualified people at the top. Then you need to start setting some appointments. It's simple. Hey, Joe, I got something I'd like to run by you. Can we have a cup of coffee? Hey, Bruce, I got something I want to get your opinion on. Can we have lunch tomorrow? Hey, Sally Sue, I want to get your thoughts on something. Could you swing by the house after work? I'm a simple-minded guy. If they start asking me questions, I go, hey, it's a visual deal. I got to show you some numbers. Come on by. That's how I work this business. One other little tidbit here I'm going to tell you is that you'll have better success getting an appointment with an attorney or a lawyer or a banker or somebody like that than you will broke Uncle Harry. And you go, how's that? You realize bankers are used to looking at deals? You realize attorneys, most of them, are used to looking at deals? You realize successful people look at deals all the time. They have business meetings all the time. That's not foreign to them. Broke Uncle Harry, who doesn't have 2 nickels to rub together, that is as foreign as anything to that boy. He's not used to having business meetings. The other thing I'll tell you about that is don't take advice from people that don't have what you want. Don't take advice from people that don't have what you want. Because I'll say this, broke Uncle Harry will be the first one to tell you that deal won't work.
Yeah.
Even the professionals that I talked to that didn't want to do it, they said, hey, I see how that could be a good deal. Yep. I'll throw this in and then I got to move on. But Brooks Haney is my dentist. He's one of the guys that was written up in the magazines. He's the dentist that the dentists go see. Brooks gets in. He signs up after I show him. And man, I had to pick myself up off the ground after I signed him up because it shocked me. And I looked at Brooks and I said, Brooks, you make a lot of money. I said, why are you signing up in this? And Brooks looked at me and he said, Presley, I only make money if I got my hands in somebody's mouth. I want to make money like you do. See, there's a lot of people out in this world that make money, but they don't have a chance to make residual money. And as Bernadette was talking about, residual is what our business is all about. I can't wait till the 15th of every month to see that residual deposited into my account. We're about residual, but make a list, start making phone calls, set appointments, and show the plan. People are always saying, how have you made all that money, Presley? I'll tell you, I've shown the plan. If you want to know how to make a lot of money, you show the plan, 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 show the plan. Get sick of showing the plan, but you keep showing the plan and showing the plan and showing the plan. That's why it's not about ability. It's about attitude. It's about action. It's about you just simply getting out there. Because if we show enough people, we're going to get a few in. And out of those few ones we get in, we'll run into some Winchells. Huh? Yeah. We'll run into some Bernadettes, some half man, half amazing. We'll run into some of those people. And all of a sudden, your life changes. I ran into a guy that owned a used car dealership. Changed my life totally. Went to a Jason's Deli and on a napkin scribbled it out. I really was a little scared and really didn't want to. Do you realize courage is not the absence of fear? Courage is just being scared and doing it anyway. If you want to do something to change your life, it's going to require you to get out of your comfort zone, and you're going to be a little scared. But courage will get you out there. See, if your why is big enough, then you'll do those steps that it takes. Make a list, make some calls, set some appointments, and start showing the plan. And the last part of that is just simply talk to everybody you bump into, just like I did with Mark Dean there in that car dealership. Talk to everybody you bump into. We got to get started. Number 2, you got to get focused. You've got to get focused. Guys, if you really want to make life-changing kind of money, you can't play with it. Now, you say, well, I already work 40, 50 hours a week. Okay, I'm not saying you got to work 40, 50 hours, but I'm saying that 4 or 5 or 2 or 3 that you do put in each week, you got to be after it. See, if we think something's important, I would dare say everybody in this room, if something that was important came into your life, you'd find enough time to do it, wouldn't you? We do. But trouble is, we end up wasting a lot of time watching that time-wasting electronic income reducer. Most of us. Do I need to translate what that is? Time-wasting electronic income reducer is a television. Average American is either on the internet or watching TV 6 hours a day. Average American is doing that. I'm telling you what, ladies and gentlemen, my theory on that deal is I don't want to watch millionaires having fun on that little TV. I want to be a millionaire having fun. Yeah. See, that's why I tell people, we can't just be sitting around watching TV hoping this is going to work. Because here's the deal. If you will sacrifice, if you will commit, if you will get focused for 2, 3, 4 years, and I can't say exactly the amount of time because every person's a little different, but if you'll get focused for a length of time, then you can do anything with the rest of your life that you want to do. Guys, you got to understand that is doable, but it's going to take you getting focused, and you'll get all kinds of flack for getting focused on something. Oh, that's a cult. Y'all are just a bunch of cult members up there. Huh? No, we're just focused on a business. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think Michael Dell got focused on computers? Yes, sir. Do you think Mary Kay got focused on cosmetics? Do you think Jeff Bezos got focused on Amazon? I'm going to say anybody that's done anything big in their life has got focused on it. You can't play with it. But see, this is different for us common people. We're just used to going, putting in our time, getting our little paycheck, going home and doing whatever. You've got to understand that you've got to look in the mirror and say, if it's to be, it's up to me. Not the boss, not the supervisor, not the owner. This is our business, and it's all about us, and it's going to take us getting focused for an extended period of time, something we've probably never done in our life. We got to get focused, and all of a sudden, good things will start happening. If you play with it like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. If you get focused and work this thing like a serious business, guys, good things will happen. They asked Tom Watson, the guy that started IBM, they said, how did you get IBM so big so fast? And Tom Watson looked at him and he said, because I treated it like a big business long before it was a big business. Whether you just signed up today, whether you got one person, 10, 100, 10,000. Guys, I don't care how many people you got on your team. Today's the day to get focused and get going. We got to get started. We got to get focused. My last point today, guys, is don't quit. Don't quit. I will tell you this. I could write a book on all the people that told me no. But I got one problem. I don't remember them. I remember the Mark Deans and Randy Hedges and Greg McCords, and I remember all those people because those are the ones that said yes, and those are the ones that got out there and changed their lives and in turn changed mine. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to get a bunch of no's. People are going to tell you no. But here's the difference. I promise you, or I would just about promise you that 5 years from now, chances are at least, they will be in the same place they are now. Whereas 5 years from now, you got a chance to be in a different place if you really want to be there. But we've got to understand that there's a lot of negativity out in the world. And then here's the other place you get disappointed. The people that say yes and boy, I want to change my life, they'll get out there and get kicked in the shin a time or two and they quit on it. The other day I signed a guy up, my exterminator. And he gets started. Well, I'm thinking he's doing good, signed up some customers, got himself, his mom and somebody else got paid. I mean, I thought this guy's rolling. And then a few days later, I'm calling him going, hey, let's go talk to somebody. He goes, nah, I ain't doing this. And I said, why are you not doing it? And he said, everybody I talk to says no. I said, how many have you talked to? Well, 2. Here's the way it's worked out in my life. If I talk to 10, I'll usually get 2 or 3. If I talk to 10, I'll usually get 2 or 3. Now, here's the good part and the bad part. It may be the first 2 or 3 I talk to, and I can sign them up and boy, we're rolling. Or it may be I talk to 6, 7, or 8 before I get one in. But I promise you, the odds will come back around in your favor. I always tell people, my son played baseball for the Cardinals, and I always tell people this reminds me a lot of baseball because you know sometimes those hitters, man, they're just hot. Boom! They get up there at the plate and they're ripping everything. I mean, everything's off the wall, homers, hard singles up the middle. I mean, they're just ripping it. But that same hitter, 2 weeks later, he can't touch that ball. And when he does, he just hits it like a grandma, can't get anything on it. I mean, nothing's happening. But you ask that hitter, you say, okay, what do you do to get out of your slump? You know what he's going to tell you? You keep going to the plate and keep swinging. And then you watch, another week later, he's back in a hot streak again. Guys, you got to understand, that's how your business is going to go. You're going to be hot sometimes, and you're going to be cold sometimes. But the key is, you can't quit when you get cold. What time is it, somebody? Okay, I'll go about 2 minutes, and then I'll shut down. I know y'all are hungry, but guys, you got to understand, that's what it's going to take to be successful. And let me say this again. That's going to apply to any business or anything that you do of significance in your life. You got to get started. You got to get focused, and you can't quit. I have not started a business in my life that it went smooth in the beginning. So just understand, all you guests, when you get started, it may not go smooth in the beginning. But if you'll keep talking, you may have to talk to 6 or 7 people, but you'll get some that get in. And I always tell people, talk to your family first and get your disappointments out of the way. You know, I mean, here's one other tidbit I'm going to throw in here right now. Do you understand? Everybody look up here and get this because this is so key. Your brother-in-law is going to tell you he hopes you do good. Boy, I hope you do good. No, I don't want to do it, but I hope you do good. Do you realize there's going to be a lot of people in your life, they tell you they hope you do good when deep down they really want you to fail? It's not the way life should be, but I'm telling you, it's the way life is. Why? Why is it? Because that brother-in-law, your sister, is going to be elbowing him every time they see you when you drive up in your new Mercedes. Because she's going to be saying, you could have done that too. See, people don't want you to be successful because it makes them look bad. A lot. Now, there are people that really care about you. Yeah, they want us to succeed, absolutely. But I'm talking about, guys, you'll be surprised, most people do not. And if we understand all this stuff going in, then it makes it easier for us because it shouldn't catch us by surprise. I'll end with, well, you know, when you're giving a good speech, you're supposed to tell people what you're going to tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. All right? So let me tell you what I told you. We need to get started. We need to get focused, and we need to never quit. All right, I'm going to end with my story about Manny. Some of you guys have heard this, but I haven't told it probably in, I don't know, 6 months or a year. I had a cousin. This is the end, so y'all know I'm finishing. I'm on my last little piece here. I had a cousin named Manny. Now, understand, guys, I come from a huge extended family. Huge. I got cousins and second cousins and third cousins removed, and I mean, I got more cousins than we got people in this room today. I mean, it's a huge extended family. But most of my family is just a bunch of rednecks. I mean, they have no motivation. They just go through like good people. I love them. They're my rednecks, but I'm telling you, they're rednecks, okay? I have one cousin that I know of that graduated from college, okay? I'll just go there, and that's Manny. But anyway, I'm a kid, and I used to hang around Manny every chance I could, you know. I loved hanging around Manny just because Manny was different. Well, Manny graduates from Samuel High School there in Dallas, and I got to go to the ceremony, the graduation ceremony. And man, I'm pumped up about it. I've never been to a graduation ceremony. Again, most of my family didn't even go to high school, and if they did, they didn't finish. So for me to go to a graduation, I was pumped. And Manny's wearing this funny little hat with this tassel thing, and I mean, I was all pumped up. I watched him graduate. But by God, Manny didn't stop there. He ended up going to the University of Texas. 4 years later, I get to go to another graduation ceremony. I get to watch Manny walk across the stage, get that diploma, and had another one of those funny hats with a little tassel thing on it. I'm a kid. I remember that like it was yesterday, though, because nobody else in my family had done anything like that. Well, Manny starts working for Mobil before they merged with Exxon, and Manny starts being successful, and he starts buying real estate and investing in stocks and bonds. I didn't even know what a stock or a bond was. Didn't know what you fed them. I didn't know anything about that stuff, I would get in the car with Manny, and Manny would be on his business calls, and man, I mean, it pumped me up, man. I would be, at his house, and he'd be talking about buying something, and I'm going, man, we don't sit around my table talking about what you're going to buy. We talk about sit around our table hoping you have food. I mean, that's how I grew up. Well, I started my life, and all of a sudden, Manny, he lives in this big, beautiful home, and I love to go to Manny's house, especially during the holidays. Man, Christmas was amazing at Manny's. Big, beautiful house set up on a hill, and new cars in the driveway, and it was always decorated and stuff. So I remember this vividly. I go to Manny's. I'm probably 18 years old or something. Go to Manny's, stay the day. I always learned when they put their PJs on, it was time for me to leave, So this day, I stay there as long as I can, and I'm having fun and staying there with Manny and just soaking it up and enjoying every second of it. They start putting the PJs on, so I hug them all goodbye. And I come walking out of this house that's sitting up on a hill, the big, beautiful brick home with the new BMWs in the driveway, and I'm going back down to my car. I walk down that sidewalk, and I get to my car, and for you young folks, you won't have a clue what this car is, but it was a 62 Ford Galaxy, okay? You don't know anything. It was a boat, okay? A boat. I mean, an ugly boat at that. And here's how bad I was. I thought I was fixing it up. It had some cracks in the dash. I cut some carpet out and glued to the dash to cover the cracks up. Shag carpet. Blue shag carpet. Now, it only had a radio, so I wanted something more. Well, back when I was that age, there was these big old brick-looking things called 8-tracks. It wasn't a slit in the dash that you slid your little CD into. I mounted this sucker under the seat, and Creedence Clearwater Revival was my group. I love Creedence. I'd put that Creedence Clearwater band, and it would clank in, boom. I mean, you could hear it. The sound system was terrible, but I would be cruising down the road with the 440 air conditioner on. Y'all know what that is? 4 windows down doing 40 miles an hour, right? Because it didn't have air conditioning. But I would be driving that 62 Ford Galaxy, Creedence would be just blaring, and that shag carpet would be giving it this across the back as the wind was blowing. Now that story really has nothing to do with what I'm telling you, but I just thought y'all might want to picture me driving that car around. But I walked down that day from that house, and I get in that car, and I'm sitting there, and my mind is racing because, guys, I'm going from this big, beautiful home that has a lot of things to my 600 square foot falling down shack in the ghettos of Dallas. And I'm just sitting there thinking. And it hit me just like a ton of bricks. I mean, I'm almost quivering that day because I remember thinking, I want to be like Manny. Manny's who I want to be like. I'm standing in front of you guys today because a cousin named Manny Carter, who didn't even know I was watching him, led me and showed me that somebody with our name could do something special. He showed me that I could be more than what everybody else was being. He's the one that kind of opened the door and let me know I could go through it as well. Now here's my question. I promise you, you're the Manny Carter to some people. What are we showing them? Are we showing them that, yeah, you can do this? Or are we showing them that, no, I'm going to just keep making excuses my whole life? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave a legacy for our kids and grandkids. And I'm going to challenge you to not leave a legacy of excuses, but I'm going to challenge you to leave a legacy that shows your kids and grandkids that they know that somebody with your last name can do something special with their life. It's hard to do that, but you can. See, I believe everybody in this room, I believe everybody in here, you got greatness inside you. Every person in this room, you got greatness inside you. I'm going to challenge you, don't go to your grave with your greatness still in there, because that's what most people do, because they're scared to get out of their comfort zone. They're scared to do anything. Guys, I'm going to tell you what. I've tried it with no money and I've tried it with some money. It's a whole lot happier and better with a little bit of money. I won't say it fixes all the problems, but it fixes a bunch of them. Guys, I believe with all my heart, there's going to be two groups of us. See, I hope that you'll make that decision today to get started, get focused, and not quit until you reach your goals. Guys, there's going to be two groups of us in this room. There's going to be the group that's glad they did, and there's going to be the group that wishes they had, because it's going to happen with or without any one of us. God bless.